How did you get involved with it? It wasn't even the ADF back then.
No, it was not. It was right from the start of fundraising for diabetes, and it was through Wayward Steel and a partner, Don Abrowski, and we decided to go ahead and start fundraising for the diabetes.
And I think if we look back in time to then, it's commonplace now that there's a bunch of funding for diabetes research, but then there was very, very little funding for diabetes research. Most of the funding was going to living with type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and I think the choice to fund Dr. Rajat and the diabetes research going on at the U of A was quite pioneering at the time, and Wayward and you were at the forefront.
Yes, what we found was most of the funding was channeling through the U.S. and then coming back, and whatever the research team could capture from that funding, which wasn't really what we were after.
And I know for certain a few years later, and not that many years later, but obviously as a long-term employee of Wayward, my daughter Dana was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was 3 years old. A few years later, my son was diagnosed, Ross, and Ted, of course, was there for both those days, very difficult days. And it was really special to be part of an organization and a company that was so behind diabetes research. So it made it very easy for me to jump in and be involved, because it was completely facilitated and encouraged by the culture that Ted and his partner Don had grown. Wish that people knew how important the funds that ADF raises are for the Alberta Diabetes Institute, and how hard those funds are to come by. We have a tremendous working relationship with the Alberta Diabetes Institute, and it's very difficult for them to get funds that they can target as effectively as they can and as quickly as they can right here in Edmonton from Albertans and Edmontonians, and it's been very, very effective when you look at the success that ADF and ADI have had together. I wish more people knew that.
But our choice is to see this through, hopefully to a cure, and support this foundation.
And I guess working with Ted and with Wayward, obviously I have not one but two type 1 diabetic children. We have had other diabetics in our company and have other diabetics in our company. It's very dear to our hearts to impact this charity, and to have the best research and the best results in the world only a few kilometers from our home base here in Edmonton. We can see the impact that we're making, and it's a big part of our culture at Wayward. I think the success of ADF and the reach that we're going to continue to grow is just heavily tied to the research being done by the scientists at the ADI, and Ray Rajat and Peter Light's team now keep pushing the boundaries forward from the successes that Ray handed off, and they keep finding new boundaries, and they keep going forward towards a cure, and we believe the cure is going to happen at the University of Alberta.
Well, I guess it's no different than where we started. It's the support of the people in need, and that can happen anywhere around us, close families. And I think it's just a good cause, especially where we are today with the research, and going forward from here, because of the renowned world involvement with that and the shared technology. I think it'll go a long ways. They need the support.